On this episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, it's your 5-2 Denver Broncos, and they're welcoming in the 3-1 Dallas Cowboys this Sunday. I'm telling you what, Broncos fans, this should be one heck of a game. If you thought the last one is amazing, I think this is one you should tune into. We'll be doing a post-game podcast as well, but tonight it's all about the preview. You all about ready? Y'all about ready? Yeah! Here we go! Yeah, I think that's something like that, right? Let's go, guys. Welcome in, everybody, to the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. We're brought to you by Rocky Mountain Sports Network. We have an amazing sponsor named Morgan Trinkets. We'll be talking about them a little bit later. My name is Keith Brugman, and hey, I'm a Broncos fan with that old school logo hanging in the background. And how can you not be a fan this season? Can't wait to get in talking about this game as we welcome in the Dallas Cowboys. But right now, I'm going to welcome in my good friend, my co-host on Friday nights, as we do our preview shows every Friday here on the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, Mr. Trevor Rocketman Salzman. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, Keith. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there. And time to talk Broncos football. Starting to hear some trade chatter kind of coming up a little bit. Rumor mill starting to kind of heat up a little bit, as well as we're starting to find out who the real contenders and maybe some of the bottom feeders are in the NFL this year, the rebuilding team. So as we get closer to the trade deadline, something to keep an eye on is just a couple of names out there. But I mean, again, it doesn't matter. Sunday's game comes first, and Broncos got to take care of business. Looking forward to diving deep into it and talk about it.
Yeah, I see Adam and Kayla coming in with a comment. Maybe we'll dive into that one if you see it there in the comments. I'm going to welcome in a couple other posse members as we get rolling out here, out on the range, welcoming in the Cowboys into the Mile High City. Ernie Mays coming in saying, "Go Broncos country only." He's the first one with a prediction. Ernie Mays, of course, always going with our Denver Broncos with a 27-17 victory for our Denver Broncos. And yeah, I mean, that might be underestimating what the Denver Broncos could do in this particular matchup, as the Cowboys don't come in with the strongest defense. I'll just put it that way. We'll get into some of the numbers and and as I said, Adam and Kayla maybe bringing us some news as well. Laugh out loud. Paul Schaefer says, "Go Broncos country only." If you missed it in the intro, I think he's laughing out loud at my Dak Prescott impersonation as I came in here. I thought that was pretty good, man.
That was good. You should clip that.
All right. Very good. Paul's also coming in with a prediction. And like I said, big scores could be possible. Paul's coming in with like a monumental score, 49-47. My only guess is that's in favor for the Denver Broncos, Paul. That's just my guess. But Adam and Kayla coming in saying, "Go Broncos country." I think the best news we got is that their two of their top defenders are going to be out for the game and out for the game. We must start fast. Don't let off the gas. Trevor, I saw you keyboarding in the background, making sure we had all the names all lined up. Did you figure out what Adam and Kayla is talking about here?
I haven't been able to pull up the injury list quite yet, but but give me a second and I will.
Okay, very good, man. I thought you were typing away over there. I was like giving you all this time and the whole nine. I'll be honest, I was watching a lot of tape. I meant to look at the injury report, and I didn't do it before I got on the air. And shame on me, Trevor,
Oh,
man, not
oh,
being totally prepped. But now you're at least informed. It looks like you're ready to go.
yeah, yeah. I mean, to cut you off there, Keith, but we have Trevon Diggs is out. Did
Ooh.
not practice today.
Yep.
Donovan Wilson. I'm just going to go read a couple guys that are just out in general for the Cowboys. Donovan Wilson is out. DeMarvin Overshown is out, and then Chavon Revell Jr. is also out. So they're missing quite a few players in the secondary.
Demarion Overshown, yeah, they were expecting him to maybe get back onto the field, be a presence as well. Obviously, Trayvon Diggs, that's the big one. Demarion Overshown is what Adam and Kayla are talking about there. Like I said, he was expected to go, could be a big piece to this defense, a defense that's reeling right now and could use every little bit of help. Trayvon Diggs being out is not a good thing either. Donovan Wilson, as Adam and Kayla bringing up, and you brought up as well, is the other name that they wanted to bring up as far as being a key piece that could be out for this defense. This is the thing, Trevor. I looked over the stats. I watched some of the footage. Could it get much worse than what they have already put on the field is the question. I mean, do you really take that big of a step backwards having to go to your backups in this regard? They're 32nd in total defense. They're giving up over 401 yards per game currently as a defense with whoever. Demarion Overshawn, fine. Donovan Wilson, Trayvon Diggs, whoever. It doesn't matter who they're running out there. They're 32nd against the pass. They're 30th against the rush. I mean, they're 29th red zone in the red zone as far as teams converting touchdowns on them when they get into the red zone. There's if there's a hole to be had, it's a get right game for your offense when you play, face off against this Dallas Cowboys is from what I'm seeing, and just paint me a different picture, I guess, Trevor, if I'm wrong here.
No, I don't think you're wrong at all, because I do think, the Cowboys defense has not been very good all year for the most part. Their offense really has carried that team, and if you look at their roster, that's where the majority of their money is going towards, is the offensive side of the ball. As soon as they traded Micah Parsons, you knew that defense was going to take a hit. Did they think it was going to take this big of a hit? I'm not sure. I think Matt Eberflus, who was the Bears head coach last year, is obviously, of course, their DC. This might be a guy that, if things don't start turning around for them defensively, and this is a playoff caliber offense for sure, this is a top 5 offense in the league, could be a guy that's probably shown the door here pretty soon. So I think if you're the Broncos, you just got to be careful of diving into the stats too much into it and going out there too confident, just because, hey, this still is an NFL caliber defense, but you got to stay focused and take care of business and do your thing. This should be one of those get right games for this Broncos offense, going up against this Dallas defense, and they're going to have to score. Because as great as the Broncos defense is, Keith and Posse, here's the thing. They're not going to be able to shut out the Dallas Cowboys. We already know that. It's going to be a high-scoring game more than likely. I think the Broncos defense is obviously, got more, special caliber players on it, of course, but I think that Broncos offense is going to have to keep up. It can't be just a defensive first game. The Broncos offense has to start clicking in this game and take advantage of the matchup that's given in front of them with the Dallas Cowboys defense.
Well, yeah, and you painted the picture pretty well, and I'll paint it just a little bit further. 32nd total defense. They're first in total offense. Like you said, this is a team that's been carried by their offense to a 3-3 and the ever unpredictable tie that comes about, I don't know, once every 4 or 5 years, maybe, Trevor. But we got one this year in the Packers and the Cowboys coming to a tie. but they're first overall in offense, second overall in passing offense, 14th in rushing offense, and ninth overall in red zone offense when they get down in the 20-yard, within the 20. This team is carried by their offense, and this is why I said at the very top, I think this is a game that could absolutely be one of the more high-scoring, high-flying type of games that we could see all Sunday, which is kind of crazy coming off of what we just came off of last week. That I think that we could see a very who's the last one with the ball, getting points on the board, as the clock expires, and that's who wins the game. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's a high scoring game. We'll get into more predictions a little bit later, but like I just got done talking a little bit about this defense for the Cowboys. Yes, don't overlook them, but on paper, man, there's a lot of ways you can attack them, and we will get into the ways that we'll attack them here in a second. But on the other side, the offense is so potent, and just got CeeDee Lamb back and looked fantastic in his return, his homecoming, as he came off of injury. So, I mean, this offense is one that this defense is going to have to deal with hugely. I mean, this is a no joke type of situation, something that we haven't necessarily seen the Broncos have to go up against as of yet.
No, and they got multiple weapons, Keith. I mean, it's not just CeeDee Lamb. It starts with CeeDee Lamb, but you got George Pickens, who has picked up really well while CeeDee Lamb was out. Jake Ferguson as well at tight end. I mean, we know how Denver is at tight end. This is why I'm saying the Dre Greenlaw, suspension really hurts Denver in this scenario, because you're going up against one of the best tight ends this season in Jake Ferguson, who will hurt you downfield, who's a guy in the red zone for sure, will hurt you in the red zone, and is a big target for Dak Prescott. Also, don't forget about Javonte Williams, what kind of year he's having. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's what kind of season he's had. 592 rushing yards on the season, and 6 touchdowns. I mean, Javonte Williams at this point in time is really working his way around and turning his career around in Dallas right now. I mean, let's face it. It hurts to say that, because he was on this Broncos roster last season and they couldn't do anything with him. But it seems like Javonte Williams has rejuvenated himself in Dallas. So they have multiple weapons to throw at this Broncos defense, and they're going to get tested come Sunday.
I'm going to jump over to Michael's comment here, so get ready for that one here in just a second. Paul's just saying that half their defense could be out, and most of their offensive line is questionable. I don't know if he's talking questionable as far as the injury report, or questionable as far as how good they are. But honestly, they kept Dak Prescott pretty clean in the last game versus the Commanders. I think he had 1 sack that he ended up taking, which Dak doesn't take a whole lot of sacks, but he takes the same amount of sacks as Bo Nix. Speaking of stats that are very similar, this is one thing that I would say. Maybe this lessens the sting for you or for anybody else out there when it comes to Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams, as you said, 592 yards, 6 TDs. J.K. Dobbins, 523 yards, 4 TDs. Not too far off the pace of a Javonte Williams. So, maybe that helps lessen the sting a little bit. I think we're lucky we're getting what we've gotten out of Javonte, or out of J.K. Dobbins, just like the Cowboys are kind of lucky they've gotten what they've gotten out of Javonte Williams, just in different aspects, right? It was about Javonte kind of turned around his career, maybe, from injury, I guess you could say, as well as J.K. Dobbins doing the same. So far they've been good.
And honestly, Keith, they're both the same kind of player, and the caliber player that they are. They're just really swapping teams. I mean, the Broncos. That's why it just still frustrates me that the Broncos weren't able to get more out of Javonte Williams last year. I mean, he was supposed to be the guy. Obviously, clearly, Sean Payton threw him out there in the field more than any running back last year. They just couldn't get anything out of him. So that's the kind of the frustrating part, is you had that in the building the past couple of years, and you just weren't able to get the production out of him. But I mean, again, J.K. Dobbins, you made a great point, having a fantastic season. Those rushing yards could also be more, because I think Sean Payton could run J.K. Dobbins a little bit more, but we'll continue that discussion down the line. But yeah, I mean, you're seeing similar production from J.K. Dobbins, which is great to see. Hopefully, he can keep that up as the season continues to go on.
Yeah, we'll need a good game out of him this game if we're going to keep pace and stay balanced and be able to put up points, which I think is what we're going to need to do. But Michael Ronquillo, man, getting it started, man. Getting this place rocking on a Friday night like Michael Ronquillo likes to do, dropping 100 stars. And he has a thought about how this game should go down. Thank you, man, for the 100 stars, Michael Ronquillo. And dropping it in the comments as we play producer. Excuse me, that Coca-Cola got me just a little bit. Sorry about that, everybody. His thoughts here. He says, this is a game to run the ball because the Cowboys defense is not good against the run. I went through some of the bad stats that the Dallas Cowboys have. 30th ranked overall in the defense, 32nd in passing defense as well. Do you think, though, this is a game that we do see J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, maybe even a little bit of Marvin Mims mixed in there, running the ball and getting loose versus this Dallas Cowboys defense? Is that the key to success, or is that the plan and scheme that Sean Payton's puts forward as we welcome the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, I mean, we always want Sean Payton to run the football, right? It seems like it's never enough. I here's my concern, Keith, and please feel free to chime in. I just feel like there's a little bit of, we talk about Sean Payton's ego a little bit, and I just feel like, hey, is this a game where he's going to get lost into the passing game too much because he's trying to outduel Dak Prescott and just prove, to the league and to everybody that like Sean Payton, this offense can compete with Dallas. Like, I just wonder if, like, from a passing perspective, and I know the matchup's more favorable in that aspect, but again, you still would like to be able to keep the defense honest. Bo Nix passing for 50 times can't always happen. It is not a recipe for success. So I just is something that I worry about. Like, is it going to get too much where we're going to see Bo Nix drop back to pass, 3 times, and then it's a 3 and out, and we're punting the ball again, and there's no movement from an offensive perspective. Can't make adjustments in the fourth quarter. Well, that drives me crazy. You've got to start making adjustments sooner. This is veteran play caller. Got to start making adjustments sooner, Keith. And I do think, though, that this matchup favors the Broncos from a passing perspective again, but you got to be able to run the ball effectively to keep that defense honest. Because here's the thing. One more thing, Keith, before we move forward.
No, you're good, man.
Dallas is first in the NFL in pressures this year. They're over Denver. They're with 90. They're leading the league in pressures this year. So the sacks may not total up to what they need to be, but the pressures do. So something you got to watch for if you're Bo Nix. Maybe this is a game where we possibly could see Bo Nix using his legs a little bit more as well and getting out of the pocket.
That was going to be what I was going to allude to after we went through all those other running options, right? I put them all out there: J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey. Maybe we could sprinkle in some Marvin Mims. I held back Bo Nix because I think you're absolutely right. The pressure that Dallas does bring, you can just go back and look at that Commanders game if you wanted to. They brought pressure against Jaden Daniels until he exited the game and had him running and scrambling and throwing on the run. It reminded me a lot of what I could see out of Bo Nix as well. And Jaden Daniels was actually pretty good about making sure he got out of bounds and protected himself for all intents and purposes in this game as well before he did end up going out. But I think you're right. I think this is a game where Bo Nix could be asked to do a little bit more with his legs and get the ground game going for the Denver Broncos, because regardless of how it happens, all of a sudden they'll have to start cheating, spying, protecting versus Bo Nix, J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, whoever it may be. I'm right there with you, though. I'm not only just worried about Sean Payton thinking he has to outduel Dak Prescott in this game. I'm worried that, quite honestly, we are going up against one of the top offenses in the league. It's not a game where we can play around. If not, it's a 2-score lead for the Dallas Cowboys before you know it. And the pressure is on to go out there and start throwing the ball around a little bit. And heaven forbid if it's a 2-touchdown lead, pressure's even higher. So it's just a matter of how we get out of the gate, I think, whether we can actually commit to that running game and keep the gas on it, and keep ourselves balanced. I want to hit a few more comments. Ernie, I certainly hope this is not the case. He says the referees will hurt the teams. At least the league is coming out and saying they're going to maybe try to address it in different ways. They're trying to be progressive. It does hurt when referees get in the way of good games. Let's hope that this is a real clean one, a real fun one, and the penalty flags aren't flying except when they're absolutely necessary. Paul's corrected me saying that their offensive line is pretty good over there on the Cowboys when they're all healthy, and that he's absolutely right. I was poking a little fun. Michael saying that Hufanga will be a spy on the Cowboys tight end Jake Ferguson, cluing us into the defensive side just a little bit as well. We'll get over on that side of the ball, don't worry. And also talking a little bit about Riley Moss. So got a lot to talk on the defense. I see my friend Michael Ronquillo. My good friend Jeremy coming in and saying, what's up, fellas? The Dallas offense is worrisome. And you're absolutely right. I didn't know if George Pickens would have the success in Dallas the way he did. It was sure tough to tell what success looked like when you're a wide receiver up in Pittsburgh after Ben Roethlisberger walked away, and you saw the carousel of quarterbacks they have went through as well. It was really tough, but George Pickens is going to be a problem, and that offense is going to be really worse. And we'll get more into like I said, the defense as well. Clayton coming in here saying, hey guys, smash that like and share button. Love you, buddy. Thank you so much. Good to see you. And always reminding me, yes, please, the like, the share, the subscribe. We appreciate it. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. Not to be outdone, though, getting the place rocking even harder on a Friday night. Phil McLaughlin coming in here with 200 stars. What has he got to say? He says, good evening, Keith and Rocket Man. This game, I want Franklin to show up with 100-yard and a 100-yard rusher. Last 3 games, the Cowboys points 44, 27, 40. Best way to beat them, keep the offense off the field. He's worried about how many points they're putting up. 44, 27, 40 points. That's just the last few games. Troy Franklin, he wants him to show up, and he wants a 100-yard rusher. We talked a little bit about that rushing. Do you think that we talked a little bit about Bo Nix more running the ball a little bit more, but obviously J.K. Dobbins would be the number one candidate. Is this a 100-yard rushing game for J.K. Dobbins, his second this season?
Better be pretty close, because if J.K. Dobbins is nowhere close to 100 yards, then I don't know if the Broncos win this game. I mean, it just goes back to like exactly what Phil said. You've got to be able to keep Dallas's offense off the field. I mean, Denver's defense is elite as it is. Let's be honest. When was the last time they went up against this elite of an offense? I mean, seriously. Maybe Indianapolis, but I would even argue Dallas's offense is probably, I would say, even better than Indy's. So, and I think a better quarterback in Dak Prescott. So, I mean, yeah, I think absolutely Phil's right. I mean, you got to have a 100-yard rusher. I think J.K. Dobbins ride the hot hand. I don't understand why Sean Payton don't do that enough. I mean, J.K. Dobbins, Keith, you just read it off his stats in the season. He should have more yards than that. I mean, seriously, the Chargers game should have ran the ball a lot more. I mean, and just stick to it more. I mean, it's just a problem time again every single game. And the offense is just it's not open up enough. I mean, these guys aren't relaxed until the fourth quarter. This isn't the Jets. This isn't the Giants. This is a playoff contender in the Dallas Cowboys that you've got to be able to be on your A game to be able to beat this caliber of an offense and beat this caliber of a team, because this is a playoff team right now. So, I mean, yeah, I 100% agree with Phil. Got to be able to run the football and trying to run the football consistently, and not get too involved and I should say too in love with passing the football with Bo Nix.
Okay. And I get that. But like we said, you need to be balanced here, right?
Mhm.
And balance does mean you're going to have to be able to pass the ball here. We've seen a shorter passing game from Bo Nix and Sean Payton. I think this is the opportunity where you do see hopefully a connection further down the field as well as the middle of the field from Bo Nix. Excuse me. This Dallas Cowboys defense is one that you can throw on and one that there's completions to be made on, left, right, and otherwise. We're going to be one of the top offenses they've went up against. I mean, you look at the Eagles right now are like 24th or 26th. I can't remember which, right? In that the Giants are 17th. The Bears are literally the next closest. They're a 12th ranked offense right now. The Broncos are 11th ranked offense. This is the closest they've had to deal with. Literally right behind us, and it's kind of funny. Bears they played at 12th, Commanders 13th, Packers 14th. Those are all teams they played. And if you look at those games, I just want to remind everybody they lost to the Bears. They gave it 31 points to the Bears. Okay? They tied the Packers in a 40-40 game. And what was the last one? The Commanders. The Commanders, they just lost after they lost Jaden Daniels. Still gave up 22 points to them. So, I'm just saying, it's right. It's going to be. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think that Bo Nix is going to have to pass the ball as well. I think it's going to be interesting who that target is going to be or who it could be, because I think we're still kind of searching for our best targets. It looks like Troy Franklin might be our number 2 though at this point, supplanting Marvin Mims from earlier this season. That's where we all thought that was the kind of the foregone conclusion, Trevor.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Evan Ingram too. I mean, we're all waiting, I think, for an Evan Ingram kind of game, and it just, I think, yeah, I'll take it even a step further, Keith. Like, I just got to be able to open up the offense, let Bo Nix do his thing. I mean, if he fails, then at least you know what to work on. Like this whole protecting Bo Nix and using this, the screen, screens and all this stuff. I get that. It's part of Sean Payton's offense. I understand that, but you can't use it time and time again. And then time and time again on top of that. I mean, you've got to switch things up when they're not working. You've got to adjust to your players and adjust to your players' strengths. Maybe Bo Nix would be a lot better off if you just let him, let the leash go on him a little bit longer and just let him do his thing. I mean, with his legs, we're not seeing that this year from Bo Nix much at all. Let him use his legs a little bit more. Like you said, the middle of the field, maybe try some of those deep ball passes to Marvin Mims a couple times downfield, play action. I mean, just more of this kind of stuff, not just screens constantly all the time. It just feels like he's trying to protect Bo Nix a little bit too much when I don't think he needs it. Let Bo Nix loose.
I think that's one of the things that they need to be able to do on this offense if they're going to be able to break it loose, is they need to get him reacting and just going. We saw it when it needed to happen in this fourth quarter. We saw it in stints throughout this season, and quite honestly, let's face it, it's been typically in the later half of the games where we see Bo Nix leading comebacks and leading charges. It's not like we've been playing from ahead a whole lot of times and just hoping that we hold on to a win. That hasn't been the case. We've had to come back when Bo Nix is in that, okay, just got to go type of mode. It's when he's doing his best. Now, how do you replicate that the best? I think the biggest thing is that the way that they're kind of scripting this and the way that, hey, you should be looking for this, you should be looking for this, you should be looking for this, right off the bat. He's trying so hard to do all the right things and not just reacting to what he sees. And they need to flip that switch and be like, okay, man, line up there, see what you see. Let's figure out where the best read is going to be before the ball is even snapped. Let's start thinking that way and just start reacting to what you're seeing rather than trying to go through these very scripted progressions I think has him going through, and trying to be a great pocket passer and stay in the pocket and not run so much, and deliver the ball downfield, and calm your feet, and all these little rules compared to letting them loose. They just got to figure out a way to switch that up. Practice was supposed to be different this week, and that'll be interesting to get into. I want to get into just a couple of things. First, I promise we're going to get into the defense in the second half. I've been holding y'all off, but you got to say hello to our good friend, good friend, Horseman. We'll just call him a Horseman right there. Albert Knopper is coming in saying, howdy, y'all. This is going to be a big test for PS2 and Moss. We'll get into that. Good to see you, my good friend, Albert Mile. Hi, Dutchy. I wanted to get to this, and then I promise we'll get to our sponsor break. Hopefully, Pearl's out there to join in and hear us talk about amazing Morgan trinkets. But Paul Schaefer coming in says, everyone says we're in the market for a wide receiver. I just got done talking about who the targets are going to be, whether it's going to be a Marvin Mims, a Troy Franklin. Obviously, we know Sutton's going to be in there. You started talking about Evan Ingram. I was listening to a podcast, and I kind of heard, I thought it had an interesting take on it, because it was kind of a head-to-head matchup podcast between Cowboys and Broncos. And the question was put up, does a win or a loss, put either team in either category? Again, with the Cowboys being 3-3-1, if they go 4-3-1, maybe they have a chance and they're adding. Or if they're 3-4-1, maybe they're looking at parting off some pieces. Now the Broncos obviously in a different position. Even if we take a loss here, I don't think we're parting off pieces and saying the season's over. But if we win, Paul Schaefer has alluded to it. A lot of people are talking about the Denver Broncos possibly adding a wide receiver. It wouldn't be for this week, man, but I can tell you what, at 6-2, I think the temptation to load up on this team and go for broke would be pretty high. What do you think about this wide receiver talk? I know you talked about it as well, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, and I've seen that CBS article. It has pretty much said that teams around the league are watching to see what the Broncos do, and that they may think that the Broncos are going after a wide receiver. But I don't buy it right now. I really don't, Keith. And I've been pretty spot on with the Broncos wide receiver room. Like, everybody wanted the Broncos in the offseason to go after a big wide receiver. They needed another weapon, and they did nothing other than add Pat Bryant. So, and I said they're going to give these young guys, Troy Franklin, some time. Yeah, Devon Vele, but here's the thing. They weren't just going to move off Devon Vele for nothing. They got a good package back for Devon Vele. That's why they traded Devon Vele. Other than that, they weren't planning on doing it, in my opinion. And so my opinion hasn't changed on this. I mean, I don't think that they're trading for a wide receiver. I think it's what it is. It's rumor season. So be careful what you read and what you believe, because teams just like to put that information out there to kind of get other teams off their trail, and just be careful what you read. I don't think the Broncos are going after wide receiver. That's not what Sean Payton does to build his roster. I mean, I think I heard something the other day that he's only traded for one wide receiver throughout his whole head coaching career. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I think he's invested in developing these wide receivers. He's drafted Troy Franklin. He's drafted Marvin Mims. He just drafted Pat Bryant. Pat Bryant hasn't seen the field much. I mean, so you got to give these guys time and to develop. And I know it drives people crazy to hear that, because yes, this is a win now roster. I get that, but this offense as a whole, it's not just one positional group or the other. This offense as a whole need to build through something. And you've seen some sparks from these wide receivers. Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, did they not step up against the Giants in the fourth quarter when they needed to, when they were asked to? They made plays. And they made plays when this offense opened up, and Bo Nix was allowed to do a lot more with the football. And so that's just something I think when the offense starts opening up more and more, you'll see these guys start to blossom more. But as you keep using these screen games all the time and kind of have a conservative offense, you're not going to see these guys bloom like you want to and truly see their potential.
Michael Ronquillo, I'm going to bring this comment up, but I'm going to talk a little bit different. He says the Broncos can't lose in these throwback jerseys that they're going to be wearing. I can't wait till they come back, maybe in a long-term fashion. I think it's coming, man. But that being said, man, I wanted to I'll throw that back out there. Michael Ronquillo on our last podcast was talking about the Mile High Huddle guys, and they had Rick Upchurch on there, which was a fantastic interview. Love Luke Patterson, love Thomas Hall. And the reason I bring this up, he brought up a couple of times an analogy, and he brought up an example, and he said that when Elway first got there, he's like, we had to help him out. He's like, we get back in the huddle, be like, don't lead us right into linebackers who are going to blow us up. He's like, he said, you gotta, when you're making a cake, you gotta get all the ingredients in. You gotta mix that batter. You gotta bake it, and it's not until the very end that you know if it's any good. He's like, and it took like 3 years with Elway before really he got it. And it was when Mike Shanahan came in, and that helped him out a ton. The offense was a little bit better suited to him, the whole nine. But even Rick Upchurch was saying about these Broncos right now, he's like, man, you just can't rush the recipe. You're going to have to wait for the batter to cook a little bit if you really want to enjoy that delicious cake. And I thought that meant a lot in what you were just saying with some of these wide receivers. We just got Troy Franklin. We just got Pat Bryant. Marvin Mims is a Pro Bowler twice as a special teamer and has been picking up more and more snaps on the offensive side. Was big in this last game. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you got to let the cake bake if you want it to taste so sweet, right?
100%. I agree 1,000%. I think that's Broncos' motto as well. That's something that Sean Payton, he's drafted and developed wide receivers before. Michael Thomas didn't just grow on trees. He had to draft and develop him, and he turned out pretty damn well. And Marcus Colston as well. So he's done it with multiple wide receivers. I do trust Sean Payton with that, be able to develop these wide receivers over time, and just his offense overall in time to start clicking for everybody.
Okay, one more comment, and I promise we'll get to our sponsor. But Phil keeps the party rocking with some stars, and if I don't get it now, I know I'm going to forget about it, and then next thing you know, we don't hit good comments like this too. He goes, I feel if we go after any position, it's going to be on the O-line. Trevor, you said, hey, man, I don't think it's going to be that skill position, wide receiver, big target type of guy that we're going to go after. Does it stay on the offense, though, and maybe go after an offensive line, or do you see another position that the Denver Broncos could potentially go after?
I would love for them to go after a tight end, but I loved that in the offseason. They didn't go after a tight end other than Evan Ingram. So tight end, I don't think they'll go after, but we'll see. I think that door's still kind of cracked open. It's hard to do big trades at the trade deadline, and usually those deals end up happening in the offseason, so we'll see. But I think Phil's kind of spot on with this, with the offensive line. I wouldn't be surprised if they picked up a veteran before the trade deadline in some sort of fashion, especially if they know that Ben Powers' injury is a little more serious than they originally thought. I think it all depends on how healthy Ben Powers is, and can he be back 100% for their playoff push. I think that'll be the biggest question. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos made a move just in general, if they didn't pick up somebody on the offensive line to kind of help shore up that offensive line, a rental for the rest of the year.
Yeah, probably would be the best bet, if they were going to go out there. I mean, at this point, Drake Greenlaw, limited production, but looks like he could come back. Alex Singleton has gotten better over the last few weeks, and between that and the depth you have with Sternad and the like, you're feeling good there. Talanoa Hufanga, knock on wood, has been fantastic. In fact, he's been the guy out there laying the wood most of these games and really setting the tone time and time again. So, that defense feels really solid. You don't think you're out there searching for anybody there. That offense, I still want that cake to bake a little bit longer when it comes to those skill positions, like you said, but you can never have enough offensive linemen. And if you can get some depth, some rotation out there, even though, hey, game ball went out to Alex Palczewski in this last one, according to Sean Payton, and well deserved, because, man, what he did against an interior, or well, defensive line in general, that New York Giants defensive line, but the interior, Dexter Lawrence was a no-show. And that was a lot to do with what Alex Palczewski was doing. And I know that we keep talking about Wattenberg too, but he was a part of that, squaring up against that defensive line. New York Giants as well kept our good man Bo Nix pretty clean, and he was back there wheeling and dealing when needed, without any pressure even. Though maybe they wanted to bring more than 3. I heard that was maybe a thing.
We'll watch for Palczewski to be possibly a starter in the future. I'll say that.
All right, brother. I've delayed it long enough. We're 10 minutes late. I got to talk about our amazing sponsor, Morgan Trinkets. Morgan Trinkets is your headquarters for Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, Estate Gold at wholesale prices. They've done it for over 34 years. And now they just hang out in northern Colorado, southern Wyoming. Couple other places they hang out, though, is over on Etsy. You can type in Morgan Trinkets Co. That's Morgan Trinkets Co. And if you do so, you'll see that everything that Pearl has to offer over there. You can also type in Pearl Heat. That's short for Pearl Heater, over there on eBay. And over there on eBay, all terms and conditions apply. Over on Etsy, by the way, all orders over $50 are shipped absolutely free, and all major credit cards are accepted. It's, don't let the holidays surprise you. That's all I'm going to say. I'm giving you a fair warning right now. Head on over to Morgan Trinkets, Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, Estate Gold at wholesale prices. That might just be a trinket underneath your tree that keeps you in the good graces. Great stuff over there. Check out Morgan Trinkets today. I've been putting off everybody on this defensive side of things, man. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about this defense. The first thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to get to a comment here in a second when it comes to our cornerbacks. Throw that up on the screen, and we'll talk about maybe what Riley Moss is and what he isn't, if you wish. But I want to talk specifically the matchup that we're going to see here, because I was posed the question: does it make sense to have PS2 on CeeDee Lamb, or does it make sense to have PS2 on George Pickens? Do you want to leave Riley Moss, who hasn't had the best success versus larger wide receivers? Just watch some Cincinnati Bengals tape if you need to be reminded. Or would you rather have him on CeeDee Lamb with maybe a little extra help if needed over there? It poses the question, because I think everyone's been talking about the CeeDee Lamb PS2 to all pros to, potentially future Hall of Famers matching up against each other. But I would like to get your thoughts on that, man. How do you think the Denver Broncos match up against not only 2 wide receivers but a tight end? Because there's a lot of receivers out there and a lot of targets for Dak to go after. How do you think the Denver Broncos will go after it?
That's a great question, because I was just going to bring that up as well. What is PS2? I mean, who do you want CeeDee Lamb to cook? And you're fine with that, because it's like the same discussion with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I mean, how do you defend those guys? I mean, and we've seen Riley Moss struggle against bigger wide receivers, like you just said. I still probably would have PS2 at least start on CeeDee Lamb, start the game, and then if you need to adjust, this is the whole thing, making adjustments after halftime, then you can readjust, and Pat Surtain can then follow George Pickens if Pickens is having a big game. But I think if Riley Moss, you're going to get tested. You're going to get tested. I mean, it's time to step up. I mean, it's either step up or this next man up. I mean, and Jaquan McMillan as well. This is why I'm saying this is a tough matchup for the Broncos from a size perspective, because you got CeeDee Lamb, you got George Pickens, you got Jake Ferguson, and it's the wrong time because Drake Greenlaw is suspended for a game. This is the kind of game that you're going to bring in a Drake Greenlaw for, to defend a guy like Jake Ferguson, to kind of, cool him down a little bit. So, yeah, it's hard to say, Keith, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos do start Pat Surtain on Pickens. And maybe it's just a Jaquan McMillan on a CeeDee Lamb. Maybe it's not even Riley Moss. and then Riley Moss can kind of take the back seat a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Broncos do. But CeeDee Lamb being a little bit smaller, maybe they end up putting a guy like Jaquan McMillan, who's played good this season, defend a guy like CeeDee Lamb, and then you have PS2 on Pickens. So besides a matchups perspective.
Dan's coming in here. Thank you, Dan. Man, I know that you came in with some comments earlier. I kept saving the defensive comments. So he says, I think the Denver Broncos defense will rise to the occasion and that the Denver defense will shine and help Denver get the dub in. Go Denver Broncos for life. Absolutely, buddy. It's going to have to be a little bit of a rise to an occasion for the Denver Broncos defense. It's not going to be easy, though. I just don't want anybody to overlook this. I know that the Cowboys are underdogs and they're coming in and they're not favored, and the Broncos, they're 5-2, and the Cowboys are just hoping to get to a winning record. Bo and the offense, they're going to have to put up points. PS2, whoever you want to name on that defense, is going to have to step up and don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if it's just a high-scoring game that seems like it's out of control at sometimes. I guess that's kind of where I'm getting at. This is going to be a tough matchup. Now, if this Broncos defense goes down there and they are the Orange Rush, as someone said earlier, nicknamed the Orange Rush with Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper and everybody getting after it out there, and they're able to wreak havoc and shut down this Cowboys offense, it will leave a statement. It will leave a statement, a larger statement than if Bo Nix goes out there and scores 35 points in a victory, I believe, just because of the way this Cowboys defense is constructed and playing in the 2025 season.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And the secondary, we talk about this being the strength of the Broncos defense is their secondary. It's really going to get put to the test when you're trying to defend three guys on this offense that have been playing really well and at least have a past of playing really well. And I'm talking about CeeDee Lamb. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb being hurt for most of the season, coming back. And then you got a guy like Pickens who can easily be 1,000-yard wide receiver downfield. Jake Ferguson, heck of a tight end this season for Dallas. So, and then you have Dak usually reads the field really well and having a really good season this year as well. So, this Broncos secondary, I think for the first time, Keith, I'll say this. I don't think this is too bold to say. I think for the first time this season, this Broncos secondary is going to get tested in a big way.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Jake Ferguson is averaging over 7 receptions. He has over 353 yards. He has 6 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. So this is probably one of the larger tight end matchups we've had. We all get scared about Travis Kelce when he comes to town. Jake Ferguson right now and is one of the better Dallas Cowboys. All the attention is going to go to Javonte Williams and the numbers he's putting up because of his return to Denver. But I'm telling you, Jake Ferguson is going to be a weapon that we're going to have to watch out for. It's going to be a game, man. Like I said, I think it's going to be a race to the finish. I saw, I think it was Michael Ronquillo a little bit earlier mentioned that Brandon Aubrey. I don't know where he could land one in Denver, but that's the type of game it might come down to. It might be a field goal from Will Lutz. It might be a field goal for Brandon Aubrey. And Brandon Aubrey in Mile High, quite honestly, I don't know, is 70 plus, just outside of 70, still on the radar for Brandon Aubrey and Denver on a nice day. That's scary, man. Mm-hmm. We're starting to talk about 75. Do we run him out there for an 80-yard field goal? Because why not? Time's going to expire at the half anyway. I mean, really? This is insane what this guy can do, man. And it could come down to a leg like that, man. That's scary when you're the Denver Broncos. This is, and I keep preaching this. I heard this a little while back, and the more I watch it, the more I believe it. It's up to offenses in this day and age to go out there and close out games. You got to be able to take the ball, run out the clock, possess the ball, take the time off the clock, kick a field goal maybe if you need to, punt the ball, whatever it happens to be, with virtually no time left on the clock, and leave that offense in no position to win. Gone are the days of be a lockdown defense. Lockdown defenses get you penalty calls like Riley Moss did in the end zone. That's what ends up happening in this NFL these days. It's too tough to try to rely on your defense to lock down a win. You got to lock it down on offense, or maybe special teams.
Yeah, I mean, I still think defense plays a major factor, but I would say yes. I think that from an offensive perspective, your offense can't just go quiet, and that's something that Denver struggled with. I think all season. I mean, so far, I mean, there's like, and even last year, Keith. Honestly, I mean, I know it was Bo Nix's rookie year, but something like when the defense would step up, and you've seen that on this past Sunday against the Giants, defense stepped up and made plays, and the offense was kind of just left hanging. I mean, they didn't do much, and so I think you got all three phases at a very high level is something that you absolutely have to do. And this game, especially against this Cowboys team, which again their record is whatever because they had that tie against the Packers, and this team has just really started to figure it out. I believe they're on a 3-game winning streak right now too, if I'm not mistaken. So. Yeah, I mean, all three phases. It's going to be a game of inches, as always in the NFL, but specifically on Sunday. The Broncos are going to have to play clean football all the way around because, like you just said, Brandon Aubrey, you could probably hit a 70-yarder in Denver in that thin air with a little bit of wind and probably hit it pretty easily. So, game of inches on Sunday is what it's going to be for the Broncos defense and Broncos just in general.
30 to 40 mile an hour. If that's at your back, man, I'm not sure what's going. It's always swirly, though. You got to watch out for that a little bit. I think this is and we do got to give this up. Vance Joseph said that Riley Moss has the hardest job because he's on the opposite side of cornerback PS2. He still believes in cornerback Riley Moss. There's no reason not to believe in cornerback Riley Moss. It's just he plays aggressive a little bit times. He gets a little handsy a little bit times. You know what I mean? And the only reason I'm a little bit nervous is because he hasn't had to go up like against strong number twos. We talk about the matchup versus the Bengals. They end up putting Jake Browning out there because Joe Burrow's down, and that ends up not being near the matchup. And we got Dak Prescott, and he's operating at a pretty high level. And I saw another comment. I just wanted to bring that up as well, that we need to possibly get some turnovers and some interceptions. Right now, Dak's not doing that. Dak's got 4 interceptions through 7 games. So, one every other game basically is what you're getting out of Dak Prescott, as of right now. Now, he hasn't faced a defense like ours, but it's just not something I want to account for. I think there's going to have to be a great defensive performance, especially on the back end. I hate to ignore Javonte Williams, but I'm so much more worried about what they can do offensively through the air.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree. And Keith, I want to correct myself. The Cowboys are not on a 3-game winning streak because they lost against the Panthers a couple weeks back. But still, They've been playing really good football, and especially from an offensive standpoint. So, and I 100% agree with you. I mean, can't lose track of Javonte, of course, and especially with this Broncos defensive line kind of still shaky when it comes to stopping the run. I mean, you see that with Jonathan Taylor and then Cam Scatterby as well and Tyrone Tracy. So you can't lose track of Javonte. But again, I mean, these weapons that Dak has around him. I mean, you talk about the Cowboys not investing maybe as much in the defense side of the ball, trading Micah Parsons, but man, they really invest in the offense side of the ball with Jake Ferguson emerging the way he has, George Pickens, them getting George Pickens in a trade, and then also picking up Javonte Williams in free agency for the veteran minimum pretty much. So, I mean, just what they've been able to bring into and build around Dak this year really is pretty incredible.
Gregory, I see you out there. I see that you're I'm not going to I don't think we should be disowned. I think you might have come in a little bit late. I don't think we're weak, and I understand we beat the Eagles, and we're 5-2. If you came in the first half, I talked about how this Dallas defense is like a sieve. How this Dallas defense is every reason that Bo Nix, Sean Payton, this offense should be able to get off to a fantastic start from the flip of the coin. There is no reason that this Denver Broncos offense, and I expect them to look fantastic from the get come this Sunday. Now, what I am a little concerned about is this: they're going up against the number one offense, the second ranked passing offense, the ninth ranked red zone offense, a legit team that I don't think we've really matched up against since the Indianapolis Colts, who are ranked second overall as far as offense is concerned. So, again, and that was a 28-29 game. I mean, a game that they put up some points in, 29 points on this defense. So I think that this is going to be a challenge for the defense. I think that we could see the very best of our offense so far this year based upon the matchup, though. I think there is no reason that they couldn't go out there and look absolutely electric from the like I said, from the flip of the coin. This is the time to do it. This is the week to do it. If you don't see it this week, I would be a little bit concerned. Let's go out there and get the win. Oh, by the way, the Eagles, believe it or not, I didn't realize how bad they are in their league and leading their league. They're like the 23rd and 26th ranked when it comes to like offense and defense, and I think I might have those flipped. But the Eagles are like oddly like one of the teams that, leading their division, and you're like, but statistically speaking, they don't look all that great. I'm sorry. I'll get off my my soapbox, Gregory. You got me all riled up. What I want to get everyone riled up doing though is dropping your predictions in, because we're right near here at the end of the podcast, and it's about prediction time. Get some final words in on Trevor's thoughts on this game, offense, defense. We even got in talking special teams there because I think that's going to come into play as well. It's going to be an all hands on deck type of game. Trevor, how do you see this game kind of coming about? And then give me your prediction at the very end, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be tough. I mean, I think it's obviously offense is going to be a big part of this game. There's no doubt about it. I mean, again, you can be elite defense all you want, and I get that, but the Cowboys, if you give them the opportunity and you're not disciplined enough, they're going to score. And so I think the Broncos is a great challenge for the Denver Broncos. I mean, I know that we've been, voicing our concerns all night about this matchup, and very much so. I don't think the records speak for themselves always. I mean, you got to be careful with that, especially with the Eagles. Like, say, the Eagles, I know they have, the record they have. I get that, but they haven't exactly been great this season. I think most, Eagles fans would possibly agree with me on that one, especially from, defense and offensive perspective. So, I mean, yeah, this is a great challenge for the Denver Broncos. I mean, I would love to have Dre Greenlaw in this game. I think Graham just said that, which stinks. It absolutely does. I mean, having Dre Greenlaw in this game would make me feel better. This is the kind of games you get Dre Greenlaw for, big games like this. And the fact that he's not on the field is absolutely unacceptable in a lot of different ways. And so, final prediction, though, I mean, man, it's tough. I mean, it really is. I can't pick the Broncos every week, though. I mean, how realistic we are. At least that's my perspective on this game. I've picked them the last couple of weeks, and this, they're great matchups with the Giants and with the Jets, but the Cowboys are not the Jets and they're not the Giants. And hopefully Denver comes out. Hopefully I'm wrong and they come out firing. But I'm going to give it a 32-24. I think the Cowboys come in, and I think they outscore the Denver Broncos, unfortunately. And again, hopefully I'm wrong. I really do hope that I'm wrong in this game, because I want the Broncos to come out and shut everybody up and say, look how good we are. This is how good we can play each and every week. Again, I just can't pick them to win each and every week. And this is a very tough matchup. And it's not just about Javonte Williams. It's about the rest of these playmakers that Dallas has. And this Broncos secondary getting tested for the first time since Indy, but also this offense might even be better, arguably, than Indianapolis's offense. So 32-24, Cowboys win.
Like I said, it's going to be a boat race. I believe it's going to be, man. 32-24 victory, close one, heartbreaker if the Broncos do end up losing their first home loss and their first loss in over a month, if that happens to be the case. And in those throwbacks, man, you're breaking me, man. But you're realistic, man. Like I said, it's going to be a tough one. Albert's coming in here. He's got a prediction. He's got a prediction of 28-21 for our Denver Broncos. Pearl Heater's coming in 22-24. Broncos just barely eke out a victory for her. Close one, but a little bit lower scoring than I was going to predict. Michael Ronquillo's up in the ante a little bit. He's given the Broncos a 27-20 victory right there. It's going to be interesting. Here's one from Dan coming in. 30-20, Denver Broncos take home a victory. Pearl saying at 21-24, and she's mad at the autocorrect. So that's okay. Don't worry. I think we got you taken care of. And Graham's coming in with a 24-30 Cowboys victory, or maybe a 24-20 Cowboys victory. I'm not really sure, but it looks like a Cowboys victory nonetheless, as far as Graham is concerned. Kind of faring on your side of the ball. Broncos 31, Cowboys 24. Patrick, that's about as close as I could come to where my thoughts were on this one. I think that this is going to be, like I said, a boat race. I'm not going to take your exact score. I'm going to go with 31-27 Denver Broncos victory. I really think that the Denver Broncos got a wake-up call from Sean Payton. You could tell from the moment he walked to the podium, he was almost unhappy with the win. He was even asked, I forget who it was, one of his players came up to him and he said, "Sean, are you going to smile?" He was not happy about the way that Denver Broncos team played. He switched up practice. I think there was a clear message heading out of last week's game and heading into this home game, getting to stay home, sleep in your own bed, get ready for the Dallas Cowboys coming to town. It's going to make a difference, especially when it comes to this offense. I spoke about it multiple times. I'm scared about this Dallas Cowboys defense, or this Dallas Cowboys offense as well, though. And the Broncos can play up and they can play down when it comes to the defense. I just think it's going to be tough. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying the Dallas Cowboys score 27 points. By the way, they score a lot of points. Like a lot of points even in their losses. So, I mean, again, but I'll tell you what, they also give up a lot of points. They haven't given up less than 22 points to any team so far this year. So 31-27 win for my Denver Broncos. That's where I'm going. Phil's coming in with a 21-20 Denver Broncos win. Sean coming in saying, I love the Broncos, or I love the Cowboys. So Sean welcoming in a Cowboys fan, kind of siding with Trevor. Now I'm sounding like Ernie Mays, but siding with Trevor, going 38-20 for her Cowboys, or his or her Cowboys. I couldn't tell by the photo. I'm sorry, they're small picks. Trey's coming in and saying 34-24 Dallas. Yeah. Hey, every reason that Cowboys fans should be feeling pretty good about their team and the trajectory they've been on over the last few games. 2 out of the last 3 games have looked pretty good, and that last one with CeeDee Lamb is looking pretty good. This is a name to watch out for that we didn't even talk about, though. Nick Bonito could be wreaking some havoc when it comes to this game. Yeah, what a fantastic episode. Trevor, we got to get some final thoughts in. It's going to be a heck of a game, man. I understand where you're coming at in your prediction. We have some Cowboy fans that feel the same way. We have some Bronco fans that feel the same way. But there's enough of us like me that also feel that there's a potential for a win. You're hoping for it. You want it. I don't think you'll be completely surprised if we do it. But as far as the prediction comes in, I know that you're going to be on the side of the Cowboys, at least on this one.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's hard for me to pick the Broncos 3 games in a row. I mean, not that I wouldn't, even if I believed them. I mean, I want to believe that they can win. This is a very tough matchup. I mean, they haven't had this tough matchup only once with Indianapolis. The rest of the rest of the season, it's not been. Maybe you could argue Cincinnati would have been if Burrow would have played, but I'm not going to go backtrack in time and try to do all that. So that'd be a great test. At very least, we'll get a test to see how true of a contender this Broncos team is. I do think they're contenders. Are they to that level where this offense can outscore the Dallas Cowboys? Can this defense that are going to get tested against the Dallas Cowboys stop these playmakers right now who are on a tear? You know, and they're getting CeeDee Lamb back, and who in his game last week played really well and his coming back party. So we'll see. I mean, prove me wrong kind of mentality. That's the kind of mentality that I have. I hold this Bronco team to a standard as well as anybody else, but got to prove me wrong, and hopefully they do. Hopefully they come out and they get a win in the throwbacks. I would hate to see this team lose in the throwbacks. I want to see them win. Just can't pick them every single game. So 32-24 Cowboys, but hopefully a Broncos victory on Sunday, and hopefully we can celebrate that on Sunday. It's good to see also, shout out to Cowboys fans too. Good to see a couple Cowboys fans come in and chime in into the chat and be respectful. We appreciate that. We appreciate and welcome all fans as well, on top of Broncos country, of course, too.
Yeah, Broncos country through and through, man. But I'll tell you what, I learned more from my competitors, and we could probably learn a little bit from our competitors' fans as well. As we all know, we know our teams in and out, man. We know them better than anybody. We know them better than most of the analysts that we see on a national level, just because of how deep we know and love our teams. And we appreciate those Cowboys fans that came in today. Maybe they could be coming in a little bit later, dropping some more knowledge and maybe more fans along the way. Broncos fans, especially Michael Ronquillo, who got this all started with rocking this evening with 100 stars, and Phil McLaughlin dropping stars a couple of different times. Phil, thank you very much. Appreciate you very much. Graham's coming in here and saying, thanks, guys. Also reminding Jake Ferguson, he is a good tight end, like we talked about. Watch out for him in this matchup. Fantastic show, both of you. Lots of love, and go Broncos, says Miss Pearl. Miss Pearl, appreciate you so much. Just another quick reminder, check out Morgan Trinkets for all your Southwest jewelry, Southwest pottery, Interstate gold at wholesale prices. Phil McLaughlin says, I feel turnovers will be the deciding factor to this game. Ooh, deciding factor. Okay, I want to hold you 2 seconds longer, man. You at least have to have one big key for a victory for the Denver Broncos. I'll have one big key for a victory for the Denver Broncos. Michael Ronquillo says, until Dak Prescott beats this Broncos defense, I am not sold on Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, been a long drought for them Dallas Cowboys since they pulled out a victory, especially in Denver. All right. All right. And then Dan looks like he's talking a little bit with Michael Ronquillo a little bit. If there was a key, if you were going to say, man, the Broncos win it, it's going to come down, or it's going to be one of the biggest pieces is going to have to be this. What would it be for you, Trevor?
For me, it's going to be time of possession. And I think I want to give Phil credit. He said it earlier in the show. Broncos got to be able to keep the football and keep the football away from Dallas's offense if they're going to win this game. And I think time of possession is going to be huge for this Denver Broncos team. If they can't win time of possession, it's hard for me to predict them to win this game realistically. So time of possession got to be huge. They've got to be able to keep the ball and not have three outs, punts. That can't be the recipe that this team has against this Cowboys offense. They've got to be able to win time of possession if they're going to have a chance against this offense.
Okay, I'll go a little bit different way then, because time of possession is usually one of my favorites to pick on. I'll say red zone production. I think if this Denver Broncos defense can be that bend, don't break, make this Dallas Cowboys team settle for short field goals from Brandon Aubrey and and 3 points along the way. That'll give the Denver Broncos the opportunity to stay in this game, even if they don't have the fastest start. So I think if you have great red zone production from both an offensive standpoint as well as a defensive standpoint, that can absolutely flip this game and put it into your wheelhouse, for a victory. Yeah, Crawshaw is the rookie getting the most playing times, as Paul. Yeah, it's a different season for Denver Broncos rookies this year when your punter is the one that's the one you got to give the most praise to so far and doing a fantastic job. Be interesting to see with some kicked up wins what Crawshaw might have. Hopefully we don't see him. Actually, I don't want to see Crawshaw at all now that I want to see him kick it, holding extra points. And that's about it as we rack up touchdowns. But no, Crawshaw's done a great job. Could be interesting to see him this weekend as well. I guess final thoughts for me, just really quick. I already gave my prediction, man. It's going to be a fantastic game. Like I said, boat race. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. Don't exit the stadium. Don't flip the channel. It could be that type of game once again, because I expect it to be a high-scoring game. And let's face it, we just exited a high-scoring game that was quite exciting to watch, Broncos country. We go live right after the game, so win, lose, or tie, which the Cowboys, I guess, are known for now, we'll be on talking about this game, man. And it's one of the most fantastic episodes we have all week. It's the most fun. All you Cowboy fans, you're welcome back, win, lose, or tie. Talks a little bit of smack, be respectful, but let's break down this game. Either way, hopefully we'll be talking the smack. I think we'll be talking the smack. That's my prediction. We go live on Wednesday. We go live on Friday, 7 to 7:30 p.m. Every single week. Hit that subscribe and that notification button so you never miss us and you know exactly when we go live. We also have the morning juice go all around the NFL. That happens at 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Like I said, don't forget to check us out right after the game this Sunday. Amazing sponsor, Morgan Trinkets. Thank you so much. Brought to you by Rocky Mountain Sports Network. Check out our articles over on RockyMountainSN.com. Trevor, another fantastic episode. Can't wait to get back in here on Sunday, talk some more football, hopefully about a victory for our Denver Broncos in those throwbacks, baby.
Yeah, absolutely, Keith. And a huge shout out to the chat again tonight for everybody that came in. And it was being respectful for the most part, and also just having a lot of great discussions. So really appreciate everybody. And yeah, I mean, I hope that it's a Broncos victory at the end of the day. But you know, it's going to be a good challenge for the Denver Broncos. It's something that has been needed. I mean, these last couple wins, you know, again, they felt great and all, but man, you'd really, if you could get this one against the Dallas Cowboys at home, you would feel really good about yourself, I think, going forward for the Denver Broncos. So looking forward to seeing it, looking forward to breaking down the game on Sunday as well. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. As always, go Broncos.
Absolutely, brother. Phil's not going to let us go without dropping some more stars. He's saying, good Lord, guys, let's face it, play a full 4 quarters. We will win this game. It's going to take a full 4 quarters possibly. And yeah, we always talk about that, man. But, you know, another thing is just the persistence to stick with it through those 60 minutes, through those full 4 quarters. Stick with the Broncos for a full 4 quarters. Come talk to us right after the game. Can't wait to see you. Phil, thanks for more stars, man. We're going to get out of here the way we always do, and then you all have a great weekend until we talk to you on Sunday. The way we get out of here, keep your boots in the stirrups, guns in the holsters. Of course, the Denver Broncos right there in your heart. Until next time, we're out of here. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you Sunday.